2 3/4. So it is a bit angled. So that is going to be a challenge, a bit of a challenge, which is fine. We can get through this because that's what I'm here for, to help you. So I have a tapered tumbler. I thought I had a straight one. Ooh, maybe we do the 30 ounce. All right, you guys, we're going to get me a 30 ounce. Give me 2 seconds because I really want you to see how this works on a straight tumbler. Lucky us. All right, so I do teach how to do the honeycomb fill on a curved wine tumbler, and that's even more of a challenge. So I wanted to show that because doing it on a taper, it's a slight challenge, but let's go straight. Now you get to see from start to finish. Let's get rid of this lid. These tumblers are from the Steel Magnolia Company. I met them at TumblerCon this past year and had a grand old time. All right, so we've got 10 1/4, and I'm going to round up and just go on the 5. Let's just do the 5, and now I've got even more room. So that's going to be a more funner. All right, 2.5, and then 2.5. So now we got bigger sections, which that's even better. And let me put a line here so I can stop. And so now we're going to sand. I already had that one sanded, but we're going to go ahead and sand. So we have little prep kits on the site. You can totally just use a nail file, sandpaper, whatever you've got. But I do recommend, please sand your items. Yes, Pilar, it was right. It was 1 week before, and then everything got shut down. So that was a crazy time to we had lots of fun traveling, and now we have not traveled since, and I don't intend to. I'm happy staying home. What's up, Song? Good to see you. Good to see you. Yes, we haven't been live in a while, so we're back. We just can't be in the garage for a while because we're working on some behind the scenes legal stuff for out there. But to sand your item, I want you to sand it off your surface. I'm going to go ahead and move this over to off my surface, off your desk. You don't want to get the sanding residue onto your desk, and just give it some scuffing up. I like to use that 100 side or the 180 side. Just give it some scuffing. Now this is, I know that this is going to be just a display item for the office for training purposes, but might as well give your things sanding if you can. Because what happens when someone says, oh my God, I want to buy that. I want to be secure in saying, okay, I'm going to sell it. So at least I knew it was prepped the right way. So this was sanded. Now let's take a napkin and some rubbing alcohol. I've got my other wipes outside, but this is just as fine. Hi, Stephanie. Good to see you. I've got some 99% rubbing alcohol. There we go. Super. Nice and clean on that half. Put the lid back on. Okay. So, and I can still see my marks, but I sanded them off. Of course I did. Of course I did. That's what happens when you go live, right? But you guys get to see how it's done. So let's measure it out. 5 is the middle, 2.5, 2.5. There we go. I'm going to have a little bit more room down here, so maybe I'll do more of the, that's what I'll do. Contour goes down here. Contour, because I want to do something kind of fancy down there. And we're going to break up the grid in the honeycomb, and I'm going to put sprinkle here, if I can spell. And then we'll do honeycomb here. And then we're going to do grid fill at the top. Now these are the 4 fill techniques and that we have used. I've tried to narrow it down, and these are pretty much just the 4 ways. You can adjust these and have them more premium, smaller stones, packed in tighter, looser, all that stuff. But for this, we're going to use SS20. It's just a good size to practice with, to learn on. They're you know, kind of big for some projects, but they're kind of small for other projects. So today I'll be using Kira Kira and SS20. I'm going to start with the grid fill up here at the top. Just because I'm trying to visualize this as a finished piece, and so I want to see it. This is the bottom. This will be like the straight lines with the grid, and then it'll be nice and sprinkled in here, and then more straight lines with the honeycomb here, and then we're going to do some swirls and some fun stuff with the contour. But I'm going to try to keep it only in a couple of inches. That way this little tutorial can be not 4 hours long. What's up, Michelle? Good to see you. We're going to do kind of a little 4 fill pattern project here, and I'm just going to use fusion tack. You can use lots of different glues, but for today, for tutorials purposes, we're just going to go easy and use fusion tack. And here we go. Everything is good, grand, awesome. We've got 31 of you today. Please hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. That would be lovely. And so I like to keep a napkin near when I'm using this glue. We have it in our precision glue bottle. We've used these for well over 20 years. I can't even count, you guys. But I like to have a napkin, and that way I can always check to make sure I don't have a clog and make sure the glue is coming out the way I need it to. And then if you have any, as you're working, you get the glue buildup, and you want to wipe that off. You want to always keep your tools, keep everything as clean as possible. Don't get glue on your katana. Keep everything clean. Now, if you have a burp, this thing is going to burp. So I need to actually put some air in here. Sorry, it's going to... You don't want to have the glue continue to make that bubble. It just means there's an air bubble inside here. So you want to pinch the bottle, put the lid back on, and it's going to help it clear that. There it goes. Burp the glue bottle, and now there's no back pressure, and it won't continue to make that bubble as you're working, because that can you know, get irritating to have that mess. I don't like the mess. All right, so for the grid pattern is just as it sounds, and I'm going to leave my words here because the silver on the silver, you'll be able to barely see it. Or you won't be able to see it barely. So I'm going to go with a straight line here, and you can do like 1 inch at a time, depending on the temperature in your room. I do have a small fan on right now, so it might dry this glue a little extra fast, but it's not going to be too fast. Grid fill is just as it sounds. That's a little bit too much glue, but we're fine. It's straight, super straight across, and super straight up and down. This pattern is great for flat items. We don't like to do this pattern on curved type items because it's very difficult to get those to curve. Now on your second line, you can do individual dots. Should I zoom in? Can you guys see? Oh. Let's do this, and let's do that. Ooh, that was super zoomy. All right, there we go. That's fine. So, and being all zoomed in, you can see my glue kind of oozed out, but it's such a small amount. Once it dries, it's gonna be see-through, clear, and you want all of your stones to touch. It does take practice to put them in so perfectly that they don't bump and move the other stones. Just takes practice. But you want to get them super straight across and then super straight up and down. Super straight. Thank you, Song. Thank you for the like and the subscribe. Thank you, guys. Oh, hey, I should have to figure out how to share this stuff. If anyone is in my How to Crystallize group on Facebook, would you please share this video to them as well? I can easily go live in that group later tonight as well, but I wish there was an easier way for me to share stuff, but once I start going live, I'm like, I don't want to waste anyone's time. I gotta get this done. All right, so we're going straight down and straight across, and it's gonna form a grid pattern all the way through this whole section. So I'm gonna do this whole thing all the way around once we're done, and then it's gonna make that grid pattern. Thank you so much, Corey. I appreciate it. Appreciate everyone. Not just Corey. I appreciate everyone. Alrighty, here we go. Using your Crystal Katana tool, a light touch is all it takes to pick up your stone. Touch the glue pulls it off, and then you can position if you need to with your other side. I want you to press your stones all the way into the glue. If they're just floating on top of the glue, it's not a good bond. And then you can witness, you could experience some lifting, or your stones, you could have loss through your stones. And there we go. And just keep, with your eyeball, keep looking at it to make sure it's straight. That's what a grid is. It is super straight. Straight rows up and down, straight rows all the way across, over and over again. So I'm going to keep doing this. I'm just going to do some dots and some lines just to show you that you can do it different ways. Thanks, Melissa. I appreciate that. Thank you, guys. These are SS20 in Kira Kira glass rhinestones in crystal clear. We've got a big shipment. I just got the DHL notice, so hopefully they'll be in this week, but usually it takes right at 4 days for it to come. And, you know, with it being a Friday, well, it's actually Saturday, but still. We like to give them 1 or 2 days, and then usually it's a surprise. It's like, oh, it's kind of early. And so if your glue slides, which some glues do, this one doesn't slide very much, but just keep checking it. I really want you to always keep checking your edge, making sure that's nice and straight here. Check down the lines, make sure they're nice and straight, or it won't be a grid fill pattern. And I'm just going to do some dots just to show that you can do lines, you can do dots, you can brush the glue on if you need to. With this particular glue, I don't normally brush it. You might see me kind of finger tap it to get it to kind of smear for when I do sprinkle fill or other ones, but it does not take much. You will be able to wash this. We have lots of videos on how to wash your tumblers. It's here on YouTube. Scrub-a-dub-dub. But you can totally wash this stuff. It will go through the dishwasher, but you really want to take care of your items. If you can hand wash it, then please do. I can't wait to take the car through a car wash to show you guys that that process is super durable, meant to be super strong. Let me check the straightness. Looks good. This way, this way. And so this is a grid pattern. Do you guys see what, that's a great question, Renee. What's the dry time? You have probably 10 or 20 minutes working time. And depending on your room temperature, like it's still white over here, it takes about a full hour for that white to turn clear, depending on how thick you put the glue. But it does take a little practice with anything. If it's too thick, it takes a long time to dry. If it's too thin, it may not stick at all. So you got to get a happy medium. Right. Awesome song. Me and Bling Crystal on a Saturday. Oh, very good. Yes, relaxing day. Right. Let's see, Ruby, if you did the entire tumbler in grid fill, is it better to start at the top or the bottom? I'm going to say start at the top, because if you have any spacing or like patching down here, it's best to do that at the bottom. You don't want to see a strange kind of patching up here. And also, I like to put my hand in the cup to help balance it. There's lots of holders and things like that people have on tumbler sites that hold the tumblers, but I'm more comfortable just me working, having it just in my hand and rolling it this way. The way I sit straight up and down, and then I use my reader glasses to focus on things better. As long as you're sitting straight up and down, you won't get such a cramp in your neck and get all that pain. So have good posture, feet on the ground, you know. You know the drill. All that stuff. Yeah, for sure. Yes, dots, lines, finger dab, all of it. That's right. And that's right, Michelle. Stare down the barrel to make sure this is nice and straight. That is right. Okay. Looks good. I constantly look at like every single row to check that. If I can get the camera to focus, you can just look down. It should look like a farm with rows and rows and rows. Rows and rows and rows. You know. Let's see. Preference on how to apply this. I like to have it in the precision applicator bottle. You could put it in a syringe if you need to, but this for me is it's easy on your hand to squeeze. I ruined my grip from tweezers. My first 8 years of crystallizing was with all tweezers, and so it's very difficult for me to even, open bottles of water, stuff like that. My hands are not happy with me, so I like a soft bottle. There's a curve here on the shoulder. It doesn't put that big callus on my knuckle I used to have from using other shaped bottles. So everything that we show you guys is for a reason. And it's because I've practiced with it for many, many years, making things better. And so that's why we like to pass those tips and tricks on to you guys. And of course, hoping that you like them too. Kimberly, if your eyesight is not the best, so do you see how nothing is sparkly right now? It's not like ping, ping, ping. Can I turn my flash on from here? I don't see a flash button on my YouTube app. Ah, bummer. But I've got indirect lighting in my office. I'll do a video on that as well. And that way it's not going to strain your eyes. If you're working and your stones are sparkling and just crazy popping everywhere, then you're straining your eyes. So we like indirect lighting. I have my light bulbs facing the ceiling, not facing down at me. And the little LEDs I have in my chandelier are on extremely low right now, just so they're not crazy popping. So if I was to put a flash on, or an LED, which most lamps and stuff have LEDs these days, see how now you're getting that pop? If you're working with that pop and that ping, it's straining your eyes. So try not to work with so much flash. If it's usually your kitchen table, your dining room light is going to be kind of flashy. Look up OTT light, OTT. OTT light is great if you can't do an indirect lighting situation like my office is here. My husband built this for me the week we moved in. He put crown molding around the whole room and put the fluorescent bulbs in, like the big long office bulbs in the crown molding, so it's like indirect. It's bouncing off the white ceiling, so it makes it nice and soft. Also, you can use reader glasses. I have with my vision, I need my power is like 2.5. Sometimes I can use 3. I've got some almost well, not microscopic, but I've got some that I got from Craft Optics, and I think they're a power 10, but they're for super small. When we work with like PP 1s and 2s, I'll pull those out. And I don't mean SS 1s and 2s, I mean PP 1s and 2s. It's like grains of salt. So vision is definitely a important thing. And if you're hunched over and you're not sitting straight in your chair, you can strain your eyes and of course strain your neck. And if you're working from the couch, that's, not a good posture, but I do it too. So you have to weigh the goods and the bads about everything. So this looks pretty straight. Look down the barrel, make sure your rows of cabbage are nice and straight. Look down the rows. And sometimes if you just look on your camera, it can help you see the way the lighting hits differently. But this is looking pretty dang good. What do you guys think? Let's see. Renee, is it better to go up and down the cup or around? I would totally go all the way around when you're doing your whole cup. That way you stay straight the whole way. It is going to be difficult for a beginner to do it patchy, like what I'm doing here, to come back over here and make sure it lines up. Because right now these are movable, and I can fix my straightness, or if it's not straight, if it's, you know, if I can fix my not straightness, my unstraight, I lost the words there. I can fix my mistakes now, but once they dry, you can't fix them. So I recommend going all the way around. I see some artists that like do the pyramid kind of technique that can cause a seam, and then you'll see it a little bit. So I prefer to build it from the bottom up or from the top down, however you want. And that way you don't fall into those problems, because those seams that can happen when you come back to an item can really throw the design off and it not look so attractive. It would look unattractive. I try to be nice. Try to be nice. Yes. Yes, they are touching, Kimberly. They are super close, touching back and forth. Let me zoom in. Whoa, yeah, that looks good. Back up. So as I put this one down, if I touch it perfectly, you saw this one move. Now, if I was to touch it more, I'm going to move all. Did you see all these move? See how they can all move? Because they are touching. And yes, it has taken years of practice to be able to freehand and just do these super straight and touching and not screw up the other rows. Years and years I think the time we did 100 cell phone cases for Henry Bendel in all SS7 in all grid fill. I'm pretty sure that was my my practice and my test to learn how to do that. So looking good. Looks awesome. Nice and straight. Super duper straight. All right, so we got like 4 more rows of this, and then I'm going to skip and do the honeycomb over here. Then we're going to do sprinkle. Then we're going to do contour. So you're going to skip around with me, and there's a reason why I'm doing that. And I'll tell you when I do it. Awesome, you guys. We've got 46 on YouTube. That's fabulous. Fabuloso. There we go. See how the tip of my glue is super clean? Keep that nice and clean. No glue bubbles coming out of your tip there. Awesome. I don't know why it just held that review. That was weird. Thanks, Miss Michelle. Where are you traveling to? I know you travel all over. Oopsies. Lots of fun. Let me knock these couple of straight lines out. Press them down all the way into the glue. Tiny dots if you're doing the dot dot. That's all you need. And sometimes I use way more glue to go faster, to be able to zoom ninja speed. Sometimes I up the glue, and when it dries it does kind of shrink back a little bit, but that takes practice, because if you use way too much you can drown your stones, and that shows up. That can show up. Yes, the light reflection. That's right, the light, because if you have these rows and they're not straight, when the light hits it just the right way, you'll see it and you'll be like, oh, what happened there? What's that song on TikTok? Oh no. It says, oh no. Just like I just did there. Oh no. Put it back in there. And they all have to touch, or it will be off. If you do the whole thing like this and something is missing and not touching, you'll see it over here. It'll be crooked. It will not keep the same pattern. It will, I like to call it, it will fall out of navigation, because we are navigating this to be straight or not straight, if that's what we chose to do a different fill pattern. Yes. Someone asked in one of the tumbler loops if 1 gross of SS20 would cover her tumbler. I told it would cover much at all. Correct. It won't cover much at all, because this right here is probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're 70. So one gross is only 144. So yeah, it's gonna take probably 4 to 6,000 stones on a tumbler, depending on your design and your fill pattern. It just depends. And we also have a class on how to calculate. That's very helpful. So I'm only going to show you guys, you know, this fill pattern, but we're not going to go over stuff like how to calculate because that's already in one of our paid classes. It's not very expensive, but it definitely is helpful. Definitely is helpful. Oh, that's right, Michelle. You are done. You're home in Texas. That's right. Oh, thank you, Pilar. Yes, the dojo class. Okay, so I'm happy with how this section turned out. I've met my little Sharpie mark. So sprinkle fill will be in here. So I'm going to move down to honeycomb. And we're going to start. Now, you can put tape lines because I'm starting in the middle doing a honeycomb. So I got free edges. All this is free edge. Just like on your nail. That's your free edge. Right there. Let me zoom back out. Beep. There we go. And so in order to find out if your line is straight on a honeycomb is if your second line fits in. If it doesn't fit in, it's not straight. So let's go ahead and dive on into it. Now, there's a YouTuber that I watch. His name is Jeb, Crypto Jeb. I've been learning about Bitcoin, and he always says that, dive on into it. He's so funny. He's a cute kid and very smart. All right, let's just put our first row down. First row. Now this looks pretty straight. How many did I put? Not that it matters. I'm gonna put one more. A little bit more. Now, it's not straight. Zoom in. I kind of want it to not be straight. Whoa, so sensitive. Zoom. Zoom, zoomy. All right, let's actually make it not straight. It's definitely not straight. So as I put the next row in, that's right, Song. See, I'm using my nail education. That's right. I've got some paint on this one, but I have a nice black to gray fade flames on my nail design. All right, so the next row, if it was straight, and for a honeycomb, it's just like a honeycomb for bees. They interlock. The shapes interlock. Putting this in here, in the little crevices, little points, put your round, your next shape right into next. And what's going to happen is because it's not straight, I don't think you guys can see it, but there's bigger gaps here. You want it to be super straight, or as you keep going, it'll just get wonky and it will fall out of navigation. You want these to be super straight when you choose this fill pattern for it to work properly. And yes, you can put tape on here. Yes, you could. But if you don't put your tape straight, it won't help. Your stones won't be straight. So I'm looking down the cup, making sure it's nice and straight. You can kind of look on the camera here. I have a little glue smudge there, making it look a little bit wonky, but we are nice and straight now. And as you trim out your stuff, you can either put 2 tiny ones or 1 small one in the middle. If you're on a shape that needs to be, like it's a finished shape, then you can fill those with little fillers, but this will go all the way around. So we're not going to need any fillers for that. But for right now, we're just going to do a couple of rows for this little section using the honeycomb fill pattern. Fill technique. F-I-L-L, fill. There we go. Who's with me still? Still here? We got 51 of you guys still here? Yeah. And this fill pattern looks wonderful on smooth surfaces like a tumbler, flat type items, to put a honeycomb or a grid pattern on 3-dimensional like shapes of like a car. It's very difficult, but when it's done right, it's very beautiful. My friend in the UK, Vincere, they just did a Fiat using just SS20 and some filler stones for all the edges and the seams and stuff. He does exquisite line work using this fill technique. I prefer a sprinkle fill on cars. I think when you have these harsh lines, it can take away from the body of the car, the beauty of those shapes and not swirls, curves of a sexy car. But he does it exquisitely. So props to Vince. There we go. Keep making sure everything is straight, because if you push this one too much, you can push all that off. Don't want to do that. And this is going to use more stones than this. Right? Yes. Now I'm zooming through here. What time is it? 3:41. Actually, have we been on 40 minutes? Really? Does not feel like that. Sorry guys, I thought I would go much faster. Well, I guess it's like 20 minutes for each one. Let me cruise through this. Let me just cruise through this. What about that? Right? I just want to get a nice kind of a finished stripe for you guys to have a end look on this. That's okay, Kimberly. Everything is practice. Hey, I'm practicing right now. Every day is practice. Just like a doctor. They practice every day. And sometimes you want to just put a stone in the middle because you were like wanting to just jump around. This is the part that I like to just kind of do sometimes to make sure you guys are paying attention. Just drop a stone in the middle and see who's, wait, what happened there? It's okay. Here we go. Super fast. Ninja speed. Okay. Make sure each one goes in that next row, in that little divot. Divot, pivot. And if it doesn't, then it's not straight somewhere down the line. Somewhere down the line it got off or got pushed off, and it's down the line. Oh, let's see. Song says, several years ago I did a tight honeycomb on my iPhone using SS4. Ooh, that's difficult. But you did it. Awesome. Very cool. Pilar, yes. I mean, honeycomb, to keep everything super straight, both of these can be challenging because it just takes 1/10 of a millimeter to go off. So it's very easy to kind of not have it work out right. But once you get the hang of it and learn when to use these fill patterns, you know, I've seen these fill patterns used on shoes. It doesn't work out very well because shoes are so curvy. It can be a problem, especially once the customer starts wearing them. Shoes are going to start bending and curving and stretching to where the foot wants it, and then the stones are much too close and they're going to start just oozing out and getting grody. So I don't recommend this fill pattern or this fill pattern for shoes. You need something that's more organic, like a sprinkle fill. Yes. Jessica, the glue I'm using is called Fusion Tack, and it's in our precision glue bottle. And we have all of this on CrystalNinja.com. And I believe the code is 10YouTube for 10% off. That we have the code. I'll put that all in the description once I finish. I'll make a project page on the site like we did last night with both of our projects that we made. That was so fun to do. There we go. Miss Fabulous Butterfly, what a cute name. These are glass rhinestones. These are the Kira glass rhinestones from CrystalNinja.com. No resin here. This kind of work takes much too long to be putting resin. I mean, resin does have some fun colors. And I do love the diamond painting resin dots. There's some squares and some round ones. Oh, I do love them. But I prefer the weight and the reflection of the glass or the Swarovski crystal. So yeah, I was for Christmas, not this year, but last year, I was like, I want to go to Joann's and get every single one of those little containers of their little diamond dot squares and just have a whole wall of mosaic supplies. But I was like, nope, I can't. This is what I do. I use these. I can't invest in that right now because that would be a hobby, and this is my profession and my career. So I don't have time for a hobby these days. All right, so this line is as straight as this line. So that makes me know that everything is super duper straight. Super duper straight. Let's see. Does the CG500 cause a cloudy cast if using too much, like the Superflex? Jessica, are you using Super Grip? Because Superflex should not have a cast at all, and CG500 will not have a cast. Super Grip is more of a cyanoacrylate glue, and it can cause cloudy hazing on your stones if used too much. You're using a little bit too much glue, so I want you to use a lot less, and you should not get that hazing. Sometimes you can get that off with acetone, but I don't recommend it unless you know your surface isn't going to be affected by the acetone, because you could damage your actual canvas putting the wrong cleaner on there. But sometimes you can get that off, so try that. Let me know. Let me know. Okay, good. Yeah, see, you had Super Grip. Yep. Yeah, Superflex, I paid too much money for that formula. It ain't going to cloud up. That's good stuff. All right, so this is our section of honeycombs. We got grid, we got honeycomb. Now let's do sprinkle fill. And the reason why I wanted to do it not next is because I'm going to show you guys. Oh, zoom out. Thank you. Is it all the way? Yeah, I guess so. Yes, thank you so much, Pilar. She may or may not know that I ruined my $1,500 desk with acetone on it. Yes, thank you so much. Now I'm going to have some flashback. Appreciate it, friend. Thanks. And I will share that in a video too, because we want to let everyone know the dangers of having certain chemicals at your workstation. You know what I'm saying? Can ruin your brand new, beautiful transformer table from Canada. Yep, sure did. And that's why we can't have nice things. Yes. For sure. Kisses. Yeah, kisses. Why did I put that away? Oh, because I wanted to show you not a better way, a different way. Okay, sprinkle fill. Oh, and I need a different, I need one more size. Let me go get a pack of 30s. Hang on 1 second. 1 second. It's in my other room. Okay. So, I've got some old packaging, but that's fine for some 30s. So when you're doing a sprinkle fill, now I do give my formula in a class that's on the site, the fundamentals of sparkle. Oh, this one open. This is not quite that same formula, but we do have a formula for you. But this is a good way. So when you're using lots of sizes, I'm going to show you guys. It says 30, 20, 16, 12, and maybe some 8s. All right. So now we have a sprinkle of the 30s, and then in my my storage, I have all my stones in these photo boxes. These are 5 inches by 7 inches. I keep all the Kira Kira in this larger size. I keep all my Swarovski in a 4x6 size, and then we have a video on YouTube here as well showing how we store everything for sure. Oh, I got some questions. Let's see. Jessica, can you use fusion tack on permanent vinyl? Not for a long lasting, it can peel off, or it's not, it's great for hobby type stuff, but not for if you're selling or professional level. I wouldn't trust it. You can sand that vinyl and have a much better outcome, but I would rather you use the correct glue for the right surface. And for vinyl, you'd want to use the Ninja Super Flex. or cover the whole thing. If it's a complete encrusted thing, use the 2-part epoxy. Let's see. Yes. Let's see. Gem tack for forgiving. Yes, it is very shock. Yep, shock absorbing. Why would you say the shock resistance using liquid fume? I'm not certain. I wouldn't use liquid fusion on these type of items because it's recommended that it's for porous items like wood, fabric, stone, things like that. I've had fusion tack peel on these hard surfaces, so I'm gonna not use those. And in comparison, they might be similar as far as that, but yeah, I'm not, yeah. But, so on this mix, I had a sprinkle of 30s. I'm now going to put a sprinkle of 20s. And let's grab a sprinkle of 16. And let's do a sprinkle of 12. And then, okay, let's do some 8s. There we go. So that's going to get you started with a beginner's kind of sprinkle fill. Let's see, you do a lot of names with vinyls on the stainless steel, so you recommend Superflex on the name. Yes, that would be totally fine to do Superflex on the names, but if you're going to totally encrust the whole tumbler, then you'll be fine to use the CG500 as long as it's covering everything, because then that glue is like just covering that vinyl, and it's not going to pop as easy if it's just on the vinyl. And then I'm going to mix all of this up. Mix all these stones up. Mix everything in. We do sell the mix packs as well, but those have lots of tiny stones. This is going to be a nice, even kind of a mix for these larger items. And the smallest size is going to be the 8s, and so that's going to be nice for that. Okay, so let's do a sprinkle fill. We're at 3:51, 51 minutes so far. Okay, so sprinkle fill, and so I'm going to be resting my finger on the honeycomb. It's dry enough for me. I know how to rest my hands on stuff, so, but that's one thing that can happen if you're doing a large item is you forget and you start leaning on something and you can smear it, and it's not good to do that. So, you guys have seen me do this. I kind of smear the glue on. You can get a brush or a silicone type thing, which I had, but sometimes it can take off too much glue. I like to pat this glue. It gets it kind of thin and even, and then I wipe my finger off on the napkin. See, I'm totally clean. Don't touch your finger on your tool. And then we're gonna just pick random sizes. Sometimes the same one can get picked. It's totally fine. And I'm going to stay within my straight line of this pattern here. And once I do a lot of this, like with the more all the way around, you'll start seeing a nice line there. You can use some small ones. It's good to kind of jump around. You can jump around your pile. You can kind of stay in one area of your pile, your mix. And these, you can have them touch. You can have them spaced out a little bit. If you practice really good, you can do a nice sprinkle fill with pretty good spacing and then utilize that background color, like the black showing through, as even a design element in your piece. So there's lots of ways to utilize this fill pattern. And I refer to it as a sprinkle fill pattern because they are sprinkled in. And sprinkle is a lovely, positive word. We try to keep things simple and also easy because we also teach globally. So we gotta try to keep our words understandable for lots and lots of people. That's right. Well, thank you, Pilar. I am so generous. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Melissa, oh, I'm sorry about that OCD. I haven't been blessed with that, so. But no, I totally used to keep all my sizes separated and use little trays and dividers. And when you're at this level and it's time is everything, when you're on a project, you're getting paid a certain amount. This has sped me up tremendously, and I don't fret over choosing what stone or doing whatever. I'm literally grabbing whatever stone my tool goes to, and I'm embracing the gap. There's going to be gaps. Now, like I said earlier, if I had a customer that was a high-paying customer that's wanting a premium fill, you wouldn't see any gaps. You would not see any gaps. And look, so we started this at 351. Now I have a clog. Don't. Okay, there you go. Tap, tap, tap. And it's like 3:55, so within 2 minutes, I'm nearly halfway done with this. So sometimes fill patterns can speed you up, therefore making you more money. Know what I mean? Butterbean, right? Aw, thank you, Marilyn. I sure appreciate that. All right, so here we go. Just pop them in. There we go. Use the other side of your tool to press them in. I want you to press the stones into the glue all the way. I don't want to see any floaters or piggybacks. They can get snagged on things and get pulled off. All the way in the glue is how I want to see you guys do this. And what else? Any questions, comments, concerns? OCD is a problem, but it's definitely fun, saves time. Yes, just go for it. Let it go. Let it go. Right? And you can even throw some shapes in here. We've got our Kira shapes, and then you'll see that fill pattern is on the car that I can't talk about, and I didn't talk about. Sorry. So yeah, fun. And then with that pinching kind of a fill pattern that we chose, we just kind of grabbed a nice amount with our fingers. You can figure out your count on how many you grab and figure out your ratios and your counts, and then know how many you'll need for certain items. Or you can take the fundamentals class and I give it to you. I give you a formula that we use, the how, what, when, where, why. But for right meow, this is what I'm showing you. Let's put that guy here. Like that, and check it out. Like I'm like done with this in under 10 minutes on this little section. Tap, tap, tap. Don't get it on the stones. If you do, just wait till it's dry. You'll have a better way to clean it. If you try to wipe it now, you're just going to get glue on the other stones, and sometimes by the time it dries, you cannot even tell. This is for demonstrational purposes only, so don't get mad at me if I have a little bit too much glue right here. I'm trying not to keep y'all here for 15 hours. You know what I'm saying? Not that this would take me 15 hours, but I'm just saying my devices would not be able to last. I like about 1 hour with these cell phones when I'm live. I don't want to mess my stuff up. You know what I mean? What's that? What's that? Fancy looks. I did. This is SuperTite fabric tack or fusion tack. They are the same. Yes, ma'am, they are. It's very similar to gem tack. You could totally use gem tack as well. Both are wonderful. And let's see. Melissa, the fundamentals of sparkle, I think it's 125 on the site. And we have the how to calculate, I think is 50, and the price of sparkle, I believe, is 50. I think. And that's in the you're so welcome. Yeah, for sure. Nana's, yes, these are the Kira glass rhinestones. Yes. How do you clean the glue after it's dried? I would take an X-Acto knife and to kind of cut that off. If the glue is dried properly, it's not going to wash off if you're trying to scrub it off. I would just take a little X-Acto knife and kind of scratch that off. There we go. Press that in. There we go. So this little section is complete. Super fast, right? Where do I want that one? I wanted like a 20. Thank you. There we go. So once it dries, I'll bring it back to the camera and show you guys. There's going to be some gaps, but it ain't all that bad. Get in there. And some people have problems because the glue is white and then it dries clear and they didn't see how loosely they put the stones, but that takes practice, and don't put them so loosely if that's not the look you're going for. If you want them to be much tighter in your fill pattern, then place them tighter. Place them closer together. Yes, for sure. Miss Fabulous Butterfly, I'm sorry I missed your answer. Can you please answer again what type of glue I can use on permanent vinyl? I started doing the best one for permanent vinyl will be Ninja Superflex, and that is on the site. Ninja Superflex. It's kind of hard to even see the grid, the sprinkle, honeycomb. Time for contour. So I'm going to take this mix and put it into something different because I want to use it later. I'll just put it aside. Maybe I'll go live on the CrystalNinja page with this next section of this. So contour, we're going to use those 20s again. Oh, I've got 20s right here. Yes. And we're going to have a little fun with contour. Now, contour can be on the item. You can outline the item over and over again, or you can create a contour. And being as this is a straight flat surface, I'm going to create a contour item. Do I have anything in here that I've done and I do not? I've recently posted the mixer, the pink mixer I did, or my assistant did years ago. That was definitely a contour fill, and yeah, I don't have anything particular in this office right now that is utilizing this fill pattern, so that's fine. We're gonna just do this, and I shouldn't be sitting on my leg. That's not proper posture, is it? Okay. Yes, the mix is pretty awesome. Thank you, Miss Michelle. I appreciate that. Okay, so contour, I'm going to go ahead and have some fun with doing, let's put in, let's just say it was a little swirl, right? Let's go, if I did swirls, let's go with something like that, okay? So first I want to just follow that line. So contour is using all one size stone, following the shape of an item or a design, a line of the, oh, that's upside down. So let's get this right on the middle of this. Oh, actually those, we did a couple thousand cosmetic jars for La Mer last year. Or, well, I guess throughout the years we do quite a bit. They just like order a batch of them at a time. And then I teach that, but that's using a template, but it's still using contour fill. That's definitely in the class section, and it's an expensive class because it's more about kind of manufacturing and production stuff. So this is going to be kind of fun because you just outline the item over and over with one size, and we don't use this fill pattern often. It can create difficulty with stuff. It can not be as, it's not the most attractive fill pattern, but sometimes you gotta use it. Sometimes. Awesome. Oh, you love your goodie box. Well, I'm happy you did, because those are from my personal collection that I've had over the years, and I thought I should share them with everyone. So enjoy the goodie boxes. Okay, so I got a nice flowy line there. And for contour, we're going to trace that again. We're going to stay right next to it, not into it. We're not going to make, we're not going to try to do honeycomb or grid or sprinkle. Same size. And if you want to start it at the same place, you'll see how it's not going to end up. Totally fine to just do rows and rows. And even though, let's zoom in. Whoa, that's so zoomed in, but good. Even though I could make this fit right up in this little nook here, I don't want to. I want this straight line to remain on its own, all right there. We're going to stay away from making it go in those nooks and crannies because it won't end up, like on this next one, it would not have fit in that little nook and cranny. So you want to always make your line. These stones are 5 millimeters thick. You want your line to be that same, a ribbon of 5 millimeters. Zoom out. We are much too close. Too close for comfort. There you go. Right? What do you guys think about that? So sometimes you want a contour fill. Sometimes it can accentuate something, and sometimes it's just not attractive. So you gotta figure out how you want your item to look, or how the client wants their item to look. Because sometimes it makes lovely, like it can be so cool. That's right. Each line is its own, each flow of crystals. That's right. Yes, awesome. Well, welcome, Nana's Bling and Things. I want to see you do more of these fill patterns in your work. That's awesome. Welcome, welcome. But it's fun to do these type of lines. And when I used to do this, I mean, this was 15 years ago. I remember it was just in my memories. I did like a Patron bottle. Oh, it looked horrible. I couldn't believe I turned that in. But that was 15 years ago when there wasn't much to compare it to. So it looked good back then, but now I'm like, oh, that's way wrong. That's so wrong. So wrong. Let's see. Can I mix glitter with other glue besides CG500, like Fusion Tech? You can try, but because this glue starts to get tacky almost immediately when it hits the air, it might be difficult to mix that in. You can totally try. If your room is nice and cold, then you might have better luck, but it's not recommended. I wouldn't try to do that. I would just rather use a better glue. And here I am talking and thinking about what my next line is going to be. Am I going to trace it and go around? I think so. Why not? Oh, we got some small ones in here. Charm, which fill pattern would you recommend for names? Because you're working within the font, it might be different every single time. If you don't have a thick font, you can't do a contour fill. I take that back. If your font is super thick, you could outline within those letters, but usually one line of stones that can go thick and thin. If your font has a serif, if it's a sans serif, then you can just use one row of stones, maybe two. It just depends on what font, how big, if it's on a curve. I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of fonts and hundreds of thousands of different ways to attempt those fonts. Sorry for not answering the question because it's a difficult question to ask or to answer. And we address fonts with every single project depending on the style and the size and all that stuff, all that jazz. All right, let's go ahead and spiral it in. Let's see how far I can go. That's right, we all start as beginners. That is so true, Michelle. Practice everything and do it a lot. Do it a lot. Yes, we did sand. There's some, the screen isn't really showing that. I mean, but I can see plenty of scratch. I like a 180, a pretty gritty sandpaper, or I used a little emery board is totally fine to scratch that up. And so now I don't have room to put that next 20, so I'm gonna use, I see a I'm gonna use a 16 from over here. So with the contour fill, you're gonna want some smaller filler stones, but if I was to put a filler stone in here and in every gap that I saw that I could fit one, you're gonna lose your lines. You're gonna lose that direction, and it won't have that feel for it. So with this line, I'm gonna come up and do, and stop right there. So it's nice and curvy, follows the curves, staying in each line of stones needs to stay in its own lane. Stay in your lane. And try not to have harsh angles and things like that. So it can all be done differently. Now let's go with, well, let's go ahead and do a bottom line here to frame that out. We've got lots more videos coming. We're going to do a glue review and talk about the glue chart and try to explain that a little bit further. Even though we have, suggestions that the glues are great with, sometimes it's about, you have to ask the question, how is this going to get used? Is it going to be just on a shelf? Is it just a trinket that sits on a shelf? Then just use this easy glue. It's easy. You don't have to worry about using super duper strong, crazy stuff. If it's just going to be sitting on a shelf, just use Fusion Tack or Gem Tack. Don't overwork yourself. Yes, if you were using blue stones on this, would you rather use CG500 mixed with glitter? Totally. You could do that, but I'm also showing this glue as this tutorial. So every video that we do is also showing how to use that glue, and you can totally use either one of those, but to get it to blue, then definitely mix in that glitter, or you can use Sharpie to paint this. This one is from this past summer, and I used Sharpie to colorize underneath this lid to get that nice and pink background. So we show lots of different ways. And then this one's got definitely the pink glitter mixed into the glue, the CG500, or it might have been Bob Smith's. I forget which project this was. But yeah, we like to show lots of different glues in the same way and in different ways. Yes, there's so many. There's just so many. And so I could keep going and get all swirly with this, but we are at an hour and 15 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and end the video so that we're not too crazy with time and lose interest. But it looks like I've maintained an average of about 50 of you guys. So that's pretty fabulous. And I think I've answered everyone's questions. And what else? Let's see here. Let's just see. Is this back here? Oh, I don't know why that won't let me get to that view. Awesome. Yes, please like and subscribe. For sure. And that way, and if you hit the little bell, you'll get notifications when I go live again. And we're going to have a lot more coming, including more information about the car that we are working on as well. You're so welcome, Ruby. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope it helped answer the 4 fill patterns. Whoa, zoom out. What if I just tap it? Nope. She don't want to zoom out, y'all. There we go. Good. So we've got grid fill, sprinkle fill, honeycomb fill, and contour. So I hope that helped answer. And once I finish this whole thing, you're going to see it. It's going to be very distinct. but this one little strip is kind of hard to see. But definitely I'm going to keep working on this and show it in other groups and kind of finish as I go. And then we can reach lots more people. Super! Awesome! The last 72 minutes. Well, awesome, iBling. Good to meet you. Thank you so much. And yes, I hypnotize you all to study all your fill patterns and practice and practice and practice more, right? That's what I hypnotize you to do. That's funny. LaQuisha, we have over on the site on CrystalNinja.com, there's a classes and projects category, and that will lead you to CrystalNinjaDojo.com, and that's a whole separate platform that we use for the classes to film those. Some are paid classes, some are for free, and the free ones are also here on YouTube as well. I try to cross promote when I can. But it does take a ton of work to do all of that, which I'm trying to push everything to come over to YouTube. So that might be an option as well. Yes. Jessica, I'm using, right now I'm filming with my Note 9 and I'm using Archon mounts. I have multiple Archon mounts. Here, I'll show you. Whoops, my station. Uh-oh, sorry, it didn't like me rotating. So I've got 2 Archon mounts with magnetics on them, and in the garage we've got the suction ones for the car. If you're on archon.com, you can use the code CrystalNinja for 20% off your order, and check out all their stuff. This is the Remarkable Creators. It has the iPad holder as well. I just don't have it on here right now. But yes, those are definitely necessary, and I like the kind that are just the metal base, not the clamp, because I can't ever guarantee what table I'm on that a clamp is going to work. So, all right, you guys, we are done. I think I'm going to turn off now, and I appreciate everyone that joined us. And I'm going to, where's my notes at? I'm going to be live in the, I'm going to go back live in Tumbler Hacks 101 on Facebook at 6 p.m. So that's about 2 hours away. So I think I will continue this for that group. I think it's very helpful to see these different fill patterns because there's tons of people just starting out that might want to try different fill patterns for different backgrounds or different, different projects. So yeah. All right, you guys, have a good one. I'm going to see you guys next time. Stay sparkly. Bye.